Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Karen Nelson, aka the Designer in Jeans. I've never been more excited to film. I have a concept that came from movies. One of my favorites actually, it's movie Julia and Julia. I don't know if you've watched it, that was from like 2009, but in that movie, Julie was a lady who was not in love with her life, but she was a writer, aspiring writer. So she decided to create a blog that would record her working her way through Julia Child's cookbook. I always thought that was the coolest thing. I finally found a way to turn that into a design edition. I am going to be working my way through, starting off at least, through the Sherwin Williams Fan Deck. So I plan to pick a color each week. I will not be doing like every color in that swatch, but I'll pick a color each week at random. I also am going to be drawing out of this bowl. I will be drawing the space it'll be in, like where in your house. And I also have about, I think it's 5 different styles that it could potentially be. So I'm gonna draw those out blindly too. So we are going to create a series answering the question, can you design a room by color first? Just one paint swatch. Can you design a whole room? I'm so excited. This is going to be a blast. Challenging, probably very challenging, but a blast. So what I have first is I have my Sherwin Williams color, my fan deck. I also have their Minwax like stain colors. So I'll see if I want to stain or if I want black and white to go with it as the neutral for like the tables or whatever I'm doing. This is the bowl. There's pieces folded up in here. I will blindly do it like this. They're all cut to roughly the same size. And then these are the white and black if I don't want a color. So we'll kind of see what we're given and then we'll make that decision. Actually, get ready for this. All right, I'm going to use the viewfinder. When I design, there we go. All right, now let's get to it. All right, so first thing we're gonna do, I'm so excited. This one is the rooms, I think. Yep. So this one right now is the rooms. Hope I get a good one. Okay. All right. Today we're gonna start with the guest bedroom. So I have primary in there as well, but we did, I also put guest because honestly, they're different. They have different functions, right? So we're gonna take the rest of those out. Those will be for next time. And then we're going to put the different design styles in here. And we're going with eclectic. Today we got eclectic, maximalist. If you know me, minimalist at heart. I have very few items. We move a lot, so I have very few items that I go off of, but this is a very fun one. So we get to have fun with color and pattern. This is actually kind of a dream for the first one. Lastly, the challenging part, the very, very challenging part. Okay, see if I'm gonna go easy on myself this time or if this is going to be a first and extremely hard. Let's see what we ended up with. I'm really nervous, guys. Oh, greens to blues. Okay, so dynamic blue. And I'm actually really happy this was the maximalist color or the eclectic because we can have so much fun with this. So now we just decide, you know, do we want a white with it? Do we want a black with it? Oh no, the black looks kind of fun. The white's a little boring to me. This would almost read a little more coastal. So I'm gonna take the white out, but we could go tone it down with one of these wood colors. So let me start to build. I actually think I'm gonna go incorporate a wood color, probably some mahogany. I think I'm gonna go with this wood color and see if I can make this work. I like this a lot. So mahogany, and it's 447. So we could do mahogany with it, or we could do black. So let's get to designing and see which one we like better on our board. Okay, so I just uploaded the 3 colors that I'm considering. So we had the dynamic blue. I also picked that tricorn black just as the neutral to kind of finish it off. And then I also have that mahogany, so we can kind of see how these all play together. So once we get going, what I think is going to happen is we're going to end up taking, like finding a wallpaper or a chair pattern or something that's very bold to give us that maximalist feeling. And that will be either our comforter or our wallpaper or something in that guest room that will really make the maximalist pop. Okay, so as I'm looking this up, I'm looking for, as I typed in just in Google, like a bold blue wallpaper. And I call this more modern. It's bold, but it's more modern. This one's really catching my eye because Maximalist Eclectics, it's busy. So I'm looking for something that's got a lot of color, a lot of fun going on in it. And this one's actually catching my eye first right now. These, again, they just give me a geometric, like a more modern or mid-century. I'm gonna scroll down a little bit, but I'm almost certain I'm gonna settle. Yeah, this is more like ocean. I think I'm gonna settle on that one up front, just as our first starting point as to how I'm gonna get all these colors in. Okay, so here's that wallpaper we found at Wayfair, and this is the dynamic blue that we started with. When you zoom in here, you can see these little speckles here. These go extremely well with that pink color. So we are on to something. It's coming along, I'm excited. Coffee break. Okay, so we did it. Episode 1 is almost complete. The design is complete. It took me around, I want to say 30 minutes to come up with this. I don't have measurements. Nothing like that is going to play into this. So this is more of a creative way to show you how to use a color like that if you're a bold individual that loves this color in this eclectic maximalistic style. If you love this design, you want to put this into play or some of it, make sure you go on these websites, that you check the websites. Some of them I use all the time, others I do not know. So do your own research before you just hit click and purchase, and do your own measurements. But let's do the big reveal. Are you ready? Okay, here it is. All right, so this is it. So what I did was, since this color is so bold, I personally would choose an accent wall, or really you could do the whole room, but it's probably a little busy. Maximalists though, they love color, they love busy. So you might want this color more on like a couple of the walls and then have the accent wall. Personally, I would do the accent wall in the wallpaper, and then I would do a more muted color, like probably an ivory or something on the other walls. But again, you could pick any color off of this and play. So you could do a light coral, you could do even the grays on here. You could choose a color for the rest of your walls. But the way I designed it, there's gonna be a neutral on all 3 walls, and then the accent wall would have this wallpaper. You could even do the neutral walls, do a fun color pop. Like you could do this blue, or even a black door would be gorgeous to paint the inside of your door this color, right? That would be gorgeous. And then have the wall across from the door would be your accent wall, have that the wallpaper. Okay, so the way I designed it is, to break up all this pattern, I would put a mirror above the bed, and I would just do a gold frame. I'm choosing gold because there's yellow in this, and this yellow can also be represented by gold. So I would choose gold there, and I also have gold here. So I also love the style. When you're doing the maximalist, the style is to have some movement, right? So I love that there is a square top to the bed, and I love that it has a dip, like an arch as well. So this gives you a very cool play on even your furniture, right? It gives you some more movement and feeling to it versus just a clean straight line. So the bed, I wanted to do the black just to kind of break up. Again, this wallpaper is very busy. It is going to grab your attention, which is fabulous. But I personally would want it to have some calmness, because someone is going to be sleeping in here. If this was a living room, I think you could have a little more fun with that wallpaper going all around. But in a bedroom, not everybody's gonna be a maximalist. They'll love the room, it'll be a lot of fun, but they may have trouble like even sleeping because it's busy. So you're gonna want that behind them. So I did the black, it'll break it up, and then look at these lamps. So the lamps are here, but this is what it really looks like. Look how close to that color it is. These are an amazing find. They're also very cool. They're unique. That's a maximalistic trait too. Find something unique. You could make them different. I decided to go, since it's that blue, I pulled it out of here, which is the blue is in here in the dots. So I pulled all that out so it'll show a little bit more. And then I actually went with two different end tables. One is a round, and then there's an antique one. So when you're doing maximalist, nothing has to match. So again, I chose the blue because I really wanted the blue lamps to pop. So I wanted two of those, and I like to repeat colors at least 3 times in the room. But we did with a drawer, so you can, whatever the people need, whatever your guests need, you can throw into that drawer. You could also put flowers or books or something below here. But I did an antique one and this, I have the same color, but they're different shapes. Just make sure the height's pretty close so you don't have like an uneven bed. When you look at it, I want the lamps to be the same height. And then I also chose this chair to bring out some of this coral. I know it's not the exact color, but it's also got this like mahogany feel to it. So it's pulling those colors out. And then here's the mahogany. That's how I pulled it in with these 3 pieces. And then I definitely want some green in there to pull this. And I chose a green bedding just to go on that bed. I would do maybe an ivory bedding versus like the sheets and stuff. You could do the bright white or you could do an ivory. They're both in here. Like you have the white and the ivory, so you could choose. And then for this pot, I didn't have it on here, but I would try to find something in this blue for that pot. Or again, you could do clay, you could do coral. The curtains, I went with ivory. So I chose sheer here just to give it like a kind of whimsical free vibe to it. But if this is a guest bedroom, you may, and you have people stay over all the time, you may want to add like a blackout curtain to that, just so I would stay in the ivory color just to keep it calm. But that would allow them to sleep during the day if they needed to. So this one is a sheer, but you could go blackout if you needed that. But this is where we ended up. And I think it's really fun. So thank you so much for coming along on this journey with me. I think this is gonna be so much fun. I hope you guys enjoy it as much as me. Every week it'll be something totally different, a different room, different colors, and a different style. So I think we can have a lot of fun with this. Thank you so much for coming by, and I'll see you again next week. Bye, everybody.